Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger! Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
Hello, YouTube. Had an interesting 10 hours of the new Lost in Space. Very interesting. I'm sort of a mixed opinion. Hang on, what's this? I've decided it was an interesting one. It wasn't what I expected. The things well, it all starts. It's not like the 60s where you get like 1 hour episode that explains what the situation is and what happens. It's not like the film. You remember the film? Which, well, it was all actually, I don't mind the film in parts. It wasn't too bad. I mean, it could have been better. I just think they went the wrong way with storyline with it. They shouldn't have brought the old time travel thing, but that's another thing. But Gary Oldman was very good as Dr. Smith. And then there was the pilot episode for the reboot. You remember? It's on YouTube as the actual pilot episode. They made a pilot about the Lost in Space family, didn't they? I think it were in early 2000s. I think it were at the time of the Time Tunnel reboot when that came out, but it never took off. And I thought that wasn't bad. And then, of course, there's that hideous cartoon series from the 70s, which is sort of funny because you got Dr. Smith, the original, and he's in it, and some of the cast, so that's sort of interesting. But anyway, back to 2018. This series is sort of interesting. You get to like the characters very quick, instead of like the original where it starts off in one episode where they blast off and there's the conspiracy and the robot losing the plot and they end up in a meteorite shower and end up warping across the galaxy and they're lost in space. This starts in the middle of wherever the journey is, and it's sort of really interesting. It starts where they're in the ship and there's explosions going on and they've detached from the main ship. There's like a big ship with loads of Jupiters. Jupiter 2's like all the different numbers going to Alpha Centauri. I mean, the storyline is similar, but obviously they brought in a new sort of mix to sort of shake things up. And they end up crashing on a planet, and there's obviously a load of intense drama going on, and you find out a lot of interesting things over like the first few episodes. It's the first 4 episodes sort of grab you into it. I mean, you find out that Professor Robinson, he's going to divorce his wife. You get into their marriage, there's problems, and the kids, and there's like a big scenario where they crash on the planet and Penny's trapped in a load of ice and Will ends up, they find magnesium to melt the ice. It's just things are getting bad because they lose the ship, it goes underwater and all this, and Will and the dad go to this mountain, get the magnesium and come back, and the fact that Will finds the robot is, I think it's like a hunter robot, it's going to kill Will, but something happens and the robot Will and the robot share something like this connection, and the robot helps them, and it's really alien looking. Now, the robot is interesting because it is incredibly alien looking, and I love its face. It's not the 60s one. I mean, the 60s one, I'll go into that in a minute. The robot is interesting. It doesn't really say much, but you get like a sense of feeling with it, because when it changes its whatever mode, its face changes. Like, if it gets into defensive mode or attack mode, it goes red and then blue. So there's a lot of flashbacks going back to why this mission is going to Alpha Centauri, which is sort of interesting, but there's over 10 episodes. Now, normally they jump in where you start at episode 1, but not with this. You're straight into the middle of this big mission. And as you're getting through episodes, you find out on the ship that it was the robot that was attacking everybody on this bigger ship, called the Resolute, carrying all the Jupiters. And it's sort of interesting, so that crashes as well. So obviously the robot's malfunctioning or something's happened. But it goes into like the old sort of family Robinson. You get that sense where they land on the planet and they realise that they might have to stay there. Now the sets in this are pretty spectacular, and everything, even the science on this with the vehicles and the technology on the ship, it's sort of practical somehow, and there's a sense of realism to it, to a point of like how the costumes and everything on the ship is got a use, and I quite like that, because these ships are designed to be lived in, when they land on the colony they're going to be used to set up and all this. But then you're getting flashbacks into their past on Earth, and it ends up there's some kind of comet's going to hit Earth from what I can work out, and Maureen Robinson, she's like a scientist, and she's like an aerospace engineer. She's a genius. All the kids are really hyper intelligent, and it's something about an hyperdrive, and there's this like director in one episode saying, can you build this ship? So I assume the ship is going backwards and forth to Alpha Centauri, because it's sort of hinted at where they're taking people for this new colony, and there's some kind of conspiracy going back on Earth. Now what you find out in the conspiracy is that they somehow Earth acquires, even though it's in 2045, Earth acquires like an hyperspace engine, and obviously they must have got it off the aliens somehow, because the aliens, you work out that the aliens are attacking the ship to get back what's theirs. So that's what's going, and that's all you seem to get. But this is like, so there's a big conspiracy back on Earth now. Is Earth being wiped out or destroyed? We don't know. I mean, so much happened. So it ends up John Robinson's not a scientist, he's a military commander. I think the kid that plays Will is great. I think he's just nailed the part. You know, even looks like the original Will Robinson, and he's like super intelligent. His two sisters are brilliant. I mean, Molly Parker that plays the mother, she's fantastic, really alpha female, awesome character she takes charge, but she's always butting heads with her husband because they're both two dominant personalities. He's like an alpha because he's like military and all that, and that's what makes the great sort of chemistry. And all of them, you jump straight into this, you know, of this situation, and then they find other survivors on the planet. You come into Don West, he's like a smuggler, and you do like his character, so I think, you know, there's something going to happen with one of Robinson daughters and him. There's a connection building. He's one of these like dodgy type characters, but it's been a nice spin on these characters' personalities, but they brought this sense of realism. And now what is interesting is the gender swap for Dr. Smith. They brought in Parker Posey, and she's an awesome actress. She's done a lot of indie movies, and she's never quite hit the Hollywood big time, but she was in Superman Returns as Lex Luthor's assistant, and she is good. I mean, I'm a big fan of Parker Posey, and she's, at first I thought, can you pull this off? But she ain't Dr. Smith, she's somebody else, you know, pretending to be Dr. Smith. Now, this is where you got the twist. The beautiful touch of this, when the Resolute's being attacked by the robots, Bill Murray's playing Dr. Smith. Now, I thought, is Bill Murray going to be the new Dr. Smith? I didn't know, because I've not really sort of jumped on what's been said about that. I thought I'd just watch it. And Parker Posey takes his identity and clears off, so she pretends to be Dr. Smith. Now, at first, you're not thinking much about her, and then she starts her stuff. She starts manipulating people. She's very good. Psychological mind games. And all this is going on with her. And there's a great thing when you jump into her life. She's like sort of messed up. She got a really wealthy sister, and the sister says you can have everything. It's like, you can have the car and the millions and the house, because none of it's going to mean anything if Earth's going to get wiped out or whatever. And she sat there because the sister's off to Alpha Centauri, but she poisons the sister, takes her ID and gets on the ship. And she's really interesting. Now, she is evil. I mean, she shot one guy out of an airlock. She had no remorse about it. She will do whatever she does to protect herself. But it's about her surviving, and she does say this. It's about her survival, and for her to survive, she will do whatever she needs. Now, the Earth thing, I don't really know what's going on, because she keeps saying if she got to have to send her back to Earth. So there's something going on. And we're obviously going to get more of this conspiracy in season 2. I was very interested in this. You know, the whole how the Earth got hold of this hyper engine, because there was an asteroid crash, and that was quite a big thing. So, and there was some government cover up. So, I mean, there's a load of questions to be answered. But Parker Posey is Dr. Smith. She's fantastic, and there's some great supporting characters. Now, Will and the robot is quite touching. You do get into their relationship, and you do sort of bat for the robot. You don't know a lot about his origins. You find out some stuff, but there's a lot more. But you're getting little clues. And so, as we moved into later episodes, obviously the robot hurts his dad. Will sort of turns up robot, and robot gets destroyed, and it gets reanimated by Dr. Smith. There's all this because she's on alien ship, and a lot of connections there to what's going on in the series. And then you suddenly get into the last 2 episodes, and yeah, it's Lost in Space all the way for the 21st century. I really enjoyed this series, because at the end, when you think just as about, I mean, it's one scenario after another, and how they're dealing with it. You know, you have moments of calm in this, and then there's scenarios all the time, and it's about survival. And when you think they're going to get rescued at the end, and because this other robot turns up and it's right evil, and obviously the robot comes back and turns good again and destroys the other robot, because they get on board, they're going to annihilate the crew. I mean, you don't know. So robots disappeared by end of episode, and after that, it's sort of like they get the ship together and lock Dr. Smith at Parker Posey. And she's brilliant. She's in the cell looking like, you know, because she saved John Robinson. I mean, there's a lot going on in this with these things, a lot of personality traits which keep you hooked. And that's what I like about this. It's good. Now, at the end, you get the big sort of cliffhanger at the end, and I thought, come on, just 2 more episodes, because I thought if this flopped, they might wrap it up as that sort of episode. But no, they are the Robinsons. Toby Stephens, I'm a big fan of his. He's a good actor. He was in Sharp, and he played Gustav Graves in James Bond. And he's a really good actor. He plays John, but I didn't even know it was him until I had to Google his name. I thought, oh God, it's Toby Stephens. I didn't know. So, I mean, there's a cast of a lot of high-class actors in this, especially from sort of the indie scene. And so they've done this really well. And the look of the Jupiter 2 is stunning. It really is a stunning looking ship. So that's it. That's my review of Lost in Space. Give this a shot, guys. I really do. I look forward to season 2. I was impressed. I'm going to add its little faults in there, but it's first season, you're getting to know people. But I guarantee second season it's going to be about adventure, and that's where they're going with it. So that's my review of Lost in Space. And
wise to me.
It's my review. Please give this video a like, and let me know, guys. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll speak to you soon. Have a great weekend. The sun's out, and hopefully summer's on its way.